Hi everyone, am I audible? पहले बता दो, then we are going to start with the boot camp. फिर formally welcome कर लेंगे. But help me to understand like whether am I audible or not. Anyone guys, you can write in the chat whether I am audible. Anyone? Like am I audible? I guess. Hello Chiranjeev, hello Vishnu. ओके चिरंजीव ओके थैंक यू चिरंजीव ओके अब थोड़ा फॉर्मल हो जाता है ओके तो हाय एवरीवन वेलकम टू द पाइथन बूट कैम्प सो दिस इज आवर 2 days बूट कैम्प जिसमें वी आर गोइंग टू learn a bit about what exactly Python is, Python क्या चीज़ है, कैसे काम करता है, and we are also going to build like a project, and our mentor will going to help you out with that. Before moving forward with the entire boot camp and all those things, so it's just I need to give a short briefing about a bit about cypher schools and a bit about ki how you guys can earn certificate of this particular boot camp. Okay, so it's very simple, guys. First of all, cypher schools is all about a learning platform where you guys can learn anything whatever you want, right from the data structures, from data science to programming, all those stuff. Okay, and it's entirely free. You guys can hop on the cypher schools and you can learn whatever you want, and even you can opt for the certification as well. Okay, so now talking about the certification part, ki how exactly you can opt for certificate for this particular boot camp. So it's very simple, guys. You guys need to attend this boot camp as well. It's as I mentioned, it's a 2 day boot camp. You guys need to attend the entire 2 days of the live session. Additionally, you guys to work upon the assignment. There's a small assignment which will be shared by our mentor and a project as well, so which will be discussed and implemented in the tomorrow's session. Okay, although it's a 2 day session, so we are going to cover a few portion of that as well. Okay. Okay, so those who have registered this session, okay, like the boot camp, you have received an email as well. If not, you will receive within an hour or most probably by 2 hours. And you guys can also access a portal of Cypher Schools where you guys need to submit your assignment. So here I'm going to share a quick 2 minute of briefing ki how you guys can access your assignment and how you can upload it. Okay. So help me to help me guys if my screen is visible or not. Okay, just a second. Let me present my screen. Okay, so I guess my screen is visible now. Uh, you can write in the chat, guys, if my screen is visible. Anyone? Okay. Okay, Bridges. Thank you. Okay. So it's very simple, guys. You guys need to hop on to cypherschools.com. Okay. So I'll help you with that part. Just type cypherschools.com. And those who have registered their email on cypherschools.com before registering on for the Python programming bootcamp, okay. So you have received one email as well, okay, and it's very clear. First, what you need to do is just tap on this Explore Courses and hop on to Login. There is an option called Hey. Type here your email ID, whatever you have, okay, whatever you have given for the Python programming as well while registration, okay. Just tap on it and sign in, okay, and there you will see one batches option over here. You can see, right? So in batches section, you will able to see there's a boot camp listed over here. Okay. So here you need to tap on it and open it. So here two things are there. Okay. First, you can access all of your live session from here. Like day one, it's mentioned over here. Day two, it's mentioned over here. You can come and copy the link and paste it in your new tab browser. Okay. Secondly, what you can do, guys, you can also access the resources from here. So as of now, we have not mentioned any resources. The resources will be updated after the today's live session will get over. Okay, so within an hour after ending the session, within an hour, we are going to upload the resources. Okay, and the second part is, sorry, the third part is, here you can access your assignment as well. Okay, so after the completion of the today's live session, we are going to upload the assignment whatever is given by the mentor, and you can submit your assignment over here. So submission of the assignment is very clear. You guys need to create a GitHub repository. Okay, and you need to upload that repository link over here as an assignment. You will get a section where you can upload your link of that particular repository, and please make sure that repository is a public repository. Okay. Okay, so it's a small briefing, and if you guys have any doubt regarding this, okay, the chat is open. Like you already joined the WhatsApp group, right? And you can whatever doubt you have, you can ask over there. I will be there, and other peoples are also there. They will be helping out for that. Okay. Am I audible properly, guys? Anyone? Anyone, guys? Okay. Okay. So, ठीक है. So this is a small briefing about how you guys can opt for the certification as well. You need to work upon the assignments which is given by the mentor. Okay, and I will be also sharing a brief documentation where how you need to upload your assignment will be mentioned in that document. Okay, so now without wasting any further time, let's begin the actual session जिसके लिए हम यहाँ आए हैं. It's all about the Python. Okay, before that, let me introduce our mentor. So let me invite him in. Okay, uh, am I audible?
Yeah, hi Sanskar.
Hi Adhiraz, sir, how are you?
I'm doing good, Sanskar. How are you?
Yes, I'm pretty much fine, sir. So how's the weather there? मतलब you are in Chandigarh, right? तो कैसा है weather?
Yeah. Like, it's better now, I guess. Better than the previous days. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So, sir, like today we have this bootcamp, right? The Python bootcamp. So, before moving forward with the entire session, matlab if you can help the audience in terms of a quick briefing कि Python exactly क्या है, and इसके use case कहाँ use हो रहे हैं, and what are the opportunities are there for learning Python, and उसके बाद opportunities क्या generate हो रही है, all the stuff.
Okay, got it. Okay. So first of all, I would like to welcome everyone in the session. I hope my audio is clear. I hope you guys can hear me clearly. Okay. Anything that you feel like, please drop in the chat. Okay. So yeah, basically, those people who have joined over here, they are looking to learn Python, and maybe they just wanted to understand why Python, what will I be getting when I learn Python, right? What kind of jobs I can apply to, what kind of industry I can that can hire me, right? So Python is basically see, every language has a specific role that like some companies are using that particular language for particular things, right? So Python is very popular among you see these AI, ML, data, machine learning. All these fields are basically heavily reliable on Python, right? So uh, our aim of this workshop or bootcamp that we are doing over here, our aim is that we gonna be kind of having a refresher course of Python. We're gonna be learning the Python. Not we are gonna be starting up with the Python from very scratch, but we're gonna be like quickly having a revision that how Python is very easy, right? It is as simple as writing English. So we're gonna be quickly having scan through the Python as a language, so that those people who are preparing, those people who are looking forward to make a career in Python, they can have a quick refresher and they can maybe practice again. They can make some project. We're going to be creating a project also, so it'll be very helpful for them putting up in their portfolio or resumes and all, right? So yeah,
Got it. Got it.
basically that's yeah, basically that's what
A quick,
we're gonna be
a
doing over
quick
here.
brief. Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So the thing is, like before moving forward, I just want to mention a few things. Those who joined the live session directly via our YouTube, okay. So those can also register now for the bootcamp. I will be dropping the link as well in the comment, or you can access it via description as well. Okay. So from there, you guys can also register for the bootcamp. Those who joined right now via live session. So, okay, Hiraz sir, now we can start, finally we can start with the bootcamp. So over to you, Hiraz sir. And meanwhile, if anyone have doubt, so what we can do is, ki if anyone have doubt, it can also be answered in the last of the session, or it's upon you, sir. If you can access the comment as well, you can answer it immediately. If it's जो आप पढ़ा रहे हो, तो उसी के साथ अगर sync हो रहा है तो, okay? Okay.
sure,
So over
yeah,
to you, sir. You can share your screen. I will present over here.
sure, yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna share my screen with you. Just a second.
Meanwhile, guys, if you have any doubt, you can start asking in the comment section, and uh, the sir will take your doubts accordingly. Okay. I guess it's yeah, it's visible now.
I hope it's visible.
Yeah. Just a small announcement I have to make. Aditya or anyone who is facing the issue regarding कि they can unable to access their batches, okay? So please wait for another 2 hours, okay? We are working on that part. It's most probably you guys have created a new account after the registration, okay? So wait for another 2 hours. We will be announcing it. Ki, your accounts are live and you can access your batches tab. Okay. 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 Thank you, sir. You can continue with the session.
Okay, sure. Okay, so yeah, first of all, welcome everyone to this workshop. And I already told you guys that what are we going to be doing over here? We're going to be understanding Python. We're going to be starting from the very basic, right? And we're going to be uh, making some projects also. And I'll be giving some assignment also. So whatever we studied today, we you gonna can be applying that in the uh, on that the assignment that I give you, right? So, not wasting much time now, we're going to be starting up. And the first thing is whenever we start with any language, first of all, we need to understand we have the entire setup in our systems, right? So, you have to make sure that you have the Python installed on your systems, and you should also have one software that can help you to write Python, and that can be Notepad also, but obviously we are not going to be using Notepad. We need something a bit more interactive, which can show us errors, which can solve our problems, which can run the code, which can do all the things for us. So for this workshop, I'm going to be using this VS Code over here. But yes, if you guys already have any other ID installed, if you have PyCharm or anything like that, feel free to use that also. I'll be using a VS Code over here. If you guys are using VS Code, you just have to make sure that in your extension, you go to the extension thing tab over here, and you just have to install Python over here. So this is the like extension that you would be needing to run Python over here. So I guess that is it that you're going to be needing in the Python over here, and then you also need to install the Python in your system. Okay. So what you have to do is you can just go to this website python.org, and over here you can just see that you have this download option available. Okay, so just click on this latest version over here. If you want to change your OS and all, you can choose the operating system for which you want to install, and just simply click on the latest downloadable version. It doesn't matter if I have the older version, if you have the newer version, it's okay. Okay, so just click on this button and it will start downloading. I already have installed in my system, but it's a very easy setup. You just have to go next, next, next. That's all. Okay. And when you open this the setup for downloading, you will see one option: add to path. Just check that so that the Python is accessible from everywhere. You can run the code from anywhere in your system. Okay. So that's it. That's what you need to start with the Python. And over here, if I just go to my this Python folder I have created over here, I'm just going to be adding a new file just for the uh, just to see if everything is working fine or not. Fine or not. I'm just going to create a file. Let's call it hello.py. So py is the extension for Python files. So it's very simple. It's simple as writing English language, right? So whenever we start with any language, we basically do the hello world. So how do we do the hello world in Python? We can simply write print. And what do I want to print? Hello world. I can just write this line of code just to check if everything is working fine. And you can also install one more extension that is known as code runner. Okay. So code runner, this one. So this will help you to run the code. Okay, you will get a this play button over here, and that will help you to run the code easily. Okay, so just install this extension also. One is code runner, second is Python. Okay, and then you can just simply go over here, and you just have to write this line of code, and you go to this play button over here. You go and click run Python file. You click on this, and hello world will be printed, and you will know that okay, Python is working fine. This is the one way. Other way, what you can do is you can go to your terminal or CMD, and you can just check over there Python hyphen version. This will also help you to check if the Python is installed properly or not. So if you click run this command, okay, sometimes this command doesn't work. So what you can do is you can write Python 3 and version. You can write this command, and this will give you the version of the Python. Okay. So if you are getting this Python version, that means Python has been successfully installed and you can start working with it, and you can try to write a hello world program and it will run. Okay. So this is just see how simple it is. Like if you compare it with some other languages, let's say if you compare it with C++ or if you compare it with Java, there are so much things that you have to write over there, right? So there are so much things that you have to write over there. Let's do a comparison. Okay. Let's say if I comment this, if I have to write this line of hello world in, let's say, C++, in that first I need to have a main method, right? In the main method, I would need to have something like, uh, you know, I want to print something out. So I would be needing the C out, and then I would be needing to have some hello world. And Java, it is even bit like more stuff I have to write. So what I'm doing three lines over here, I'm just doing in one line. So this tells me that Python is very readable. Python is very readable. Python is very easy to understand. Python is very easy to learn. Okay. So these are some of the advantages that we see in the Python. Like, a lot of things are already done for us. We don't have to worry about a lot of things. We're going to be seeing in like up in like, as we proceed in the course, we're going to be seeing that how simple Python is. Okay. So yeah, I guess that's it. That's what you need to set up the Python, and you can start. We can start with the understanding the fundamentals of Python. Okay. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to create a new file over here, and let's start with the very first topic. And the topic would be, let me just say, uh, data types and variables. Okay. So I'm just going to create one file over here. Okay, so let's start with the very simple data types and variables. Okay, now whenever we are starting up with any language, we need to understand what how we can store data, how we can create the variables, how we can store data and the variables in any language, right? Similarly, in Python, things are very simple, right? Basically, if I talk about variables, variables are like the container that we're going to be creating to store some data, right? Now, data can be of different types. I can have the data for, let's say, some numeric data. I can have some alphabetical data. I can have some Boolean data, true, false, right? So these are all the data that I can have. I can also have some data that is user defined. I create the type, right? And that is a different thing over here. But right now, let me just say, maybe I want to store some information about you. So let's say I want to store your age, I want to store your name, I want to store your address. I need a container to store that, right? So that's how where I'll be creating the variables. Okay. Now creating variables in Python is as simple as just writing the name of the variable. That's all. Let's say I want to store the age. So I'm just gonna say age. That's all. I have created the variable. I don't have to mention what is the type of data. I don't have to mention anything else. Just the name. Okay, so the name of the variable is age. Basically, this is like a container. Imagine there is like a box in the memory that has been created, and I can put something inside it. I can put some, and let's say I put ages, let's say 10. Now, this 10 value, this is a numeric value that is now inside this age container. Okay, so if I try to say print age, I would just want to see what is inside age. Okay, so if I try to print this over here, it is going to give me 10 over here. Okay, so what I have is a container that is having a value 10 and that is printing that. I'm just printing that age, what is whatever the age is containing. Similarly, if I say over here that age equals to 20, okay, so if I now try to print the age, now it is coming 20. So that means this age is now overwritten. Like whatever the value it was holding previously, it got overwritten again. That is why we call them variables because the values can vary. Okay, variables vary. Okay, so this is like how simple we can think we can create data in Python. Okay, now, whatever the type of data I want to create, let's say I want to create a name. I just have to write the name. The name is just the name of the variable. Okay, let me just say this as first name, maybe first name. Okay, so let's say the first name I'm just gonna. So now this is a the name is actually like a combination of characters. So whenever we are storing the combination of characters, we call it a string. Okay, so whenever we are creating a string, we will be using these quotes. So we can use double quotes also, we can use single quotes also. And let's say I want to store hello. Let's say the first name is hello. Okay. So if I try to print the name over here, first name over here, first name, and if I run the code, it is gonna give me hello. So that is what is getting output. Okay. So similarly, I can store decimal numbers also, right? They are basically some pointer values, right? So 10.5, 10.20, whatever, right? So that's how we're going to be creating variables in Python. Okay. If you guys have any doubt at any point of time, feel free to write it in the chat. Okay. Okay. Now, next up, let's say if I was creating multiple variables. Now, if the multiple variables I'm creating are of the same, like let's say I created an age over here, and let's say I create another variable over here. Let's call it something like uh, number. Okay, let's call it num. So I created another variable. I can give value over here like this also. Let's say 22. Okay, so this is how we can create multiple variables in a single line of code. Okay, Pooja, this will be around 1 hour. Okay, one hour, 1 hour 15 minutes. Okay, cool. Okay, so I hope you guys understood how to create variables in Python. Okay, now we will be talking about. So I am creating something in the Python. Okay, and then I am outputting it on the console. So how I am outputting it on the console with the help of this print statement. Okay. Now, what if I want to take the input from the user in Python? Okay. So basically, I can say that I don't want this age to be predefined as 10 over here, right? I want it to be given by the user to me. Okay. So how can I do that? It's very simple actually. Okay. So let's take an example over here. I'm just gonna comment this out. Okay. So comments are basically the lines that are not included when the code is being interpreted and then compiled, right? So when we are add a comment in Python, we use hashtag. So that will give me a comment. Okay. So let's say I don't want to create my own age. I want to take the age input from the user. Okay, so how will I do it? It's again very simple. I'll say there is a variable. Let's call it age. Okay, now this age variable, I don't want to give 10 over here. I wanted to take it from the user. Okay, so I'm gonna say I'm gonna use a method. So we don't know about what methods are, but I'm gonna use this thing over here called input. Okay, so input is gonna be helping me to take some input from the user. Okay, so I'll say I'm just gonna write some message in this. I'm gonna say enter your age. Okay, that's it. That's how I'll be taking the input from the user. And if I just say over here, print uh, your age is okay. Now I want to display the age after this, whatever the user has input. So I'm going to put a comma and I'm going to say age. This is more like concatenation of two things. Okay. So I'm just going to run this code and it is going to ask you enter your age. I'll say that 10 and it is going to say your age is 10. So that's how I'll be taking the input from the user. Okay. Now, if I do one thing, if I just want to check what is the data type of this age over here. Okay. What is the data type of this age over here? If I run this code, it is going to give me, let's say age, I'm going to say 10. It is going to say string, right? So the age that it is giving me as an output is a string over here. This age that the user has given to me is string. It is not integer. It is not a number. Okay. So we have to understand this. The type that I'm getting over here is string. So that means if I want to do some mathematical operations over here, then I will not be able to do on this age because this age is not a number. This thing over here that I'm getting, this is not a number. These are characters. So in this case, I need to convert the string to integer. So there comes the concept of type conversions. So how can I convert my integer to a number? Sorry, how can I convert a string to a number, right? It's again very, very, very simple. What you have to do is you can simply say, whatever the input I'm getting from the user, whatever the input I am getting from the user, I will put that, I'll put that in a bracket and I'm going to say in the beginning only int. That means I am converting the entire input from the user to integer. Okay. I'm converting that to the entire thing to the integer. This is known as converting one type of data into other type of data. Okay. Asif, it's okay if you have the version 3.12. It's completely fine. Doesn't matter. Okay. You can still do the same things. What I am doing on my system. Okay. The version doesn't matter that much for now. Okay. Okay. So now I have converted my integer, my string into integer. Now, if I try to get the type of my age, I'll run it again. Maybe I'll just play it. I'm gonna say age is 10. Now it is saying that now this age that I'm getting over here is integer. So that's how I converted the input from the user into an integer. This is not a type conversion in Python. Okay, guys. I hope this much is clear. I hope things are making sense. If you feel like everything is clear till now, everything is good to go, please drop maybe a thumbs up, maybe a CLR, maybe a OK in the chat so that I can know yes things are okay till now and we can proceed further. Okay, cool. So let's go to the next topic now. So now comes the part where we can do some operations related to the plus, minus, multiply, divide, plus equals to operators, right? I'm talking about operators over here. So we're gonna be looking at what are the operators in the in the Python we have that we can be using to create something out of that, right? So operators are very as simple as there are different type of operators that we have, but just if I divide it in the category, all these plus, minus, multiply, divide, modulus, and all, right? These are like the arithmetic operators I have, all which will do the mathematical operations, right? So if I just go and I create a new file over here, let's say that I'm having two variables. So how will I create variables? I'll say there is a variable num1 and the value of num1 is 10. Then I have another variable num2, the value is 20. So there are two variables over here. Now I want to do some operations on this. What do I mean by operations? I'm going to say I need to add these two numbers. So very simple. I'm just going to say num1 plus num2. Done. That's how I can add two numbers, right? Now, whatever the output of this number, whatever this sum is going to give me, I can directly print that also. I can say print num1 plus num2. This will work. This is going to give me 30. Or what I can do is I can also say I'm going to say num1 plus num2. I can create another variable. Let's say the variable name is an answer. I'm going to store the sum of num1 and num2 in this answer, and I can then print answer. That's how also I can do it, right? So 30 again. Okay. So I hope things are making sense. Okay. So similarly, if I want to let's say I just write it like this over here. So if I just comment this line out and I also comment these two lines out and I say num1 minus num2. If I run this code, this is gonna give me minus 10 because 10 minus 20, right? And if I uncomment this line out, if I say multiply, so this is going to give me 200. And if I comment this line out and I write a divide over here, this is going to give me error because answer is commented. So I need to uncomment this line. I need to run it again. It is going to give me 0.5. Things are working fine. Okay, cool. And apart from this, we also have a bit different operator over here. This is known as floor division. So floor division is basically gonna give me. So this is the symbol of floor division. So this means that if let's say my answer is 3.5, it is gonna give me the floor value 3. Okay. So if I run the code, it is gonna give me 0 because the answer was 0.5 initially, but it is giving me now the floor value. So this is the floor operator. Okay, sorry, floor division. This is known as floor division. Okay. And then we also have the modulo. Okay. So modulo will basically mean the remainder. So if two numbers are getting divided with each other, this is going to give me the remainder of that. Okay. So yeah, these are basically these things over here. These are known as arithmetic operators. Very simple, very easy to use. You just guys can just simply go and write the code and run it, and you can create a simple calculator out of it. Right? It's that simple. Okay. Coming up to the next category, we have assignment operators. Okay. So assignment operators. So assignment operators are basically when we are assigning some value into the some other variable. So like this equals to over here. So right. So like the equals to, this is the assignment operator. Then we also have plus equals to, minus equals to, multiply equals to. These are known as assignment operators. Why? Because plus equals to, what it is going to do is it is going to take the current value of the variable. So if I say over here num1 plus equals to 100, let's say. Okay. And if I store this in answer, now if I if wait, I'm just gonna write it over here. So basically, what's going to happen in this case is what is going to happen in this case is it is going to take the current value of the num1 and it is going to add 100 in that. That's how plus equals to work. So the current, basically, if I write this line of code or if I write num1 plus equals to num1 plus 100. Both the lines basically means the same thing over here. This is known as additional assignment. Okay, so you might have done some questions in which like you have to calculate the sum of first n natural numbers. So what do you have to do in that? You have to say I have to say 1 plus 2, and then you have to add the next number in the sum of 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 will give you 3. Then you have to do 3 plus 3. Then it will give you 6. Then you have to do 6 plus 4. So we are getting a current value of that, and we are adding the next number in the current sum. So that is how you will be using a plus equals to operator in that case. Okay. So these are known as assignment operators over here. Okay. We already have seen equals to over here, how equals to is working, right? Next up we have comparison operators. Comparison operators. Comparison operators are basically used to compare two entities, right? If I want to compare two, let's say num1 and num2, right? So I can basically say over here, if I just simply say print a equals to b, this double equals to is the comparison operator. Okay, this is a comparison operator. If I try to run this code, this is gonna give me a is not defined. Okay, this is num1 actually, not a. So num1 and equals to num2. So basically, I'm comparing two entities over here. So this is gonna return me a true or false, right? So it is gonna give me false. Why false? Because I'm saying over here is num1 equals to num2? No, they are not equal. So this is basically comparing two entities over here. This is equals to, right? And then similarly, I also have not equals to. So if I try to say num1 not equals to this one, this is going to give me true because yes, both of them are not equal. That is why it is giving me a true over here. Okay. And then we have other operators over here. So like we have double equals to, not equals to, greater than equals to, less than equals to, same stuff. We can be comparing two things. Greater than equals to, if is num1 greater than num2? No, it is going to give me false. Is num2 greater than num1? Yes, it is going to give me true. I can use these operators to compare, right? So these are like the comparison operators. And then we have logical operators, very important. Logical operators. So what does these operators are going to do is they're going to compare two conditions, right? So if I want to execute some code based on some multiple condition, let's say I want that condition A should be true, condition B should be true, condition C should be true, then only I want to execute the code, right? So in that case, we'll be using logical operators. So logical operators are basically and operator. So and operator, or operator, and not operator. So we can just simply use these operators over here. I can simply say, so we have num1 and num2. If I just try to print, I'm going to say num1 greater than 0. This is the one condition. I'm going to say and num2 less than 100, let's say. Now, what is the value of num1? 10, num2 20. If I say num1 is greater than 0, this is true. Okay. Num2 is less than 100. This is also true. So both the conditions, if both the conditions are true, then the output would be true also. If let's say the second condition is false. If I run the code, this is going to give me false. So that means if both the conditions are true, and this AND operator is going to return true only in the case when both the conditions are true. This AND operator, it needs to check are both the conditions true or not. So let's say you want to create let's take an example. Let's say you want to create a voting system, right? So if you want to check if someone is eligible to vote, so what are the multiple conditions you need to check over there? You need to say that the person should be above 18 years of age, first condition. And you also need to check that he should also be having the nationality of Indian to vote in Indian elections, right? So like these are the two conditions. If either of the condition is false, the person cannot vote, right? So in that case, you can use this and operator. But the other one is or operator. So or operator is only going to check one condition. If any of the condition is true, it is going to print true. Okay. So if I say a num1 greater than 0, this is true. And I'm going to say or num2 is less than 5. This is false, right? But if I run the code, this is going to give me true. Why? Because this first condition is true. So what OR is saying over here is that any of the condition out of the first condition or second condition, any of the condition can be true. I'm going to give true. If any of the condition is true, I'm going to give true. If both of the condition are false, then only I'm going to give false. Okay. And then we have the not operator. So not operator is just the opposite. If you want to say, if I just say not is like if the answer is true and you say not true, it is going to give false. Opposite. Okay. So that is how you're going to be using not. Okay. So I hope this much is clear to you guys. ठीक है सबको समझ आ गया होगा इतना. And then we can move forward to the next part. So next is let us understand how to write if else if in the Python. Okay. Very simple to write, very simple to use. So quickly gonna tell you guys how to write. What is the syntax of writing this? Okay. So I'm just gonna create a new file for this. Let's get a new file and let's understand how to write if else. So Python, we don't use brackets, right? We use indentation. So we have to understand that Python, if the indentation is wrong, you will not get the correct output. Okay. So let's try to understand it with an example. Let's say I have a num over here. Okay. So let's say num and the value you can take the user input also. You can just define the 10 over here, right? So I have this num over here as 10. I'm just going to say if. So this is the condition. Okay. I have to write a condition over here. So whatever the condition I write over here, if this condition is true, then whatever I write in this indentation, I need to put indentation. Let me just tell you guys with the help of example only. Okay, so I'm going to say the condition is I don't have to put brackets in Python. Sorry. Okay, so if now I have to write the condition over here. So the condition over here is that the num, if this num is greater than 0, okay, if the value of the num is greater than 0, then I put a colon. Okay, now the colon is saying if statement has done. Now you write the logic for the if. Now you see over here, I have this indentation. That means this if I have this indentation over here, I will start writing from here. I'm gonna say print print what? I'll just print something like positive number, right? It's a positive number. Okay. Now this whatever I write over here, let's say I have multiple statements. All of them, these statements basically lie inside the if block. Okay, all of them lie inside the if block. If I write some statement like over here, this is outside the print block. So this is outside the if block. Okay, so understand this. Let me just write over here outside if block. Okay. Now, if I just try to run the code over here, if I try to run the code, what I'm getting is I'm getting positive number, I'm getting outside if block, I'm getting both the statements, right? Why? Because this condition is true, this got executed, and then once this got executed, it also came outside the block, and then it also printed this because this statement is outside the if block. Okay. So that's how basically this works. If I have some more things over here, that is going to come inside the if statement. Okay. Then if this condition is not true, then what I need to do? I need to do a else block for that, right? So to write the else block again, I just gonna be writing else over here, and then for colon means that I need to write the logic now. So the logic is I'm just gonna print over here something like negative number. Okay. So let's say if the number is minus 10 over here, and if I run the code, it is going to say negative number, and then it is going to say outside if block. So this condition is false. Then it came to the else block, and then it printed the statement, and then also it printed this line of code because this is outside if else. That's how it is working. Okay. So yeah, I hope this part is also clear. But if what if I have multiple conditions to check with, right? So in that case, I can also use else if. In Python, we call it elif. Okay, we write it as elif. Okay. So I'm gonna say if the number is greater than zero, I'm gonna say it is a positive number. Uh, let's say I have multiple conditions to check with. So I have one more condition over here. Just gonna remove this. I'm gonna say elif. Okay, elif, and then I write the condition for the elif over here. So the condition is num is let's say less than zero. Then I'll say print negative number. Okay, and else means if none of the condition is true, then I will just say print number is zero. Okay. So now if I run the code, it is going to say negative number. Okay, let's try with the zero over here. Let's say the number is zero. If I run the code, it is going to give me number is zero and outside if block. So it checked this condition. This is false. It doesn't print the statement. It goes and check elif. This is also false. It doesn't print this statement. Then if none of the conditions are true, it is going to do the else block and it is going to print this statement. That's how simple it is. Okay. So now then once this entire if else block is executed, then the statement is printed on the console. So that's how else if works. Okay. Cool. I hope you guys understood this part also. Okay. So now let's go and let's understand how does loops work in Python? How do we write this the syntaxes for the loops? Okay, let us understand that now. So basically, like in other languages also, in Python also we have for loop, we have while loop, right? So we're gonna be understanding how to write these loops over here. So whenever I want to write a for loop over here, so for loop generally, yeah, like it basically works on a range, right? We have a range on which I'll be running the for loop. Okay. Generally, we have these. You can call them like collections. You can call them like list, array. You might have heard about arrays, right? Like those we have list, we have sets, we have tuples, we have dictionaries, and these kind of collections. Like in which we are like storing multiple data. So when I want to like iterate on those collections, if I want to start from collection one, the element one, element two, element three, if I want to go to each element of the array, I'll be using a loop in that case, right? So if I just take a simple example over here, right now we have not understood about collections and all, but it's okay. We're gonna be understanding it. But let me just show you with an example over here. So let's say there is a file over here. Okay, so let's make a collection over here. I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be I'm sure you guys might not understand this part, but just bear with it. We're gonna be understanding it later on. Let's say I have a collection over here. The name of the collection is, let's say, cars. Okay, and it is having multiple values. So if I want to create multiple values, I can create put them in the big brackets. Okay, so let's say I'm having let's say one car is BMW, then another car over here is, let's say, Ford. Okay, then other car is, let's say, over here Audi, like this. Okay, now I want to print the name of all the car over here, right? I want to print the names. So what I can do is if I just want to iterate over these. So basically they have indexing concept over here also. You might have heard about indexing. So this first element over here, which is BMW, this is basically at index zero, right? And the next element over here, which is Ford, this is at index one. And this Audi over here, is index 2. Okay. So that's how basically you can understand them. These are like the indexes of these elements. So maybe I can also go to the particular index. I can print that also. If I want to print all the elements, what I can do is I can simply say for. So this is how I write the for loop over here. I'll say for. Now I need to create a variable that will iterate on each element. So I'm going to say, let's say the variable, the iterator name is I. Okay. For I in, okay, in cars. So basically I is a variable that will be going on each of the element and printing that element over here. So I'm going to say for I in cars, I just going to be printing out I. Okay. If I do this, if I run the code, I'll be getting BMW, Ford, and Audi. So this syntax basically means this I is like a local variable that I've created that when the for loop runs, it is going to go on each of the element and it is going to print the value of those particular elements over there, right? It is basically going on each index over here. Okay. So that's how I can, create like I can basically build a loop and we can print the values over here, right? Okay, so next up, we have, yeah, if I want to iterate over some range, right? So that is also something I can do. So I'll just show you with an example over here. Uh, so if I say for, let's say in, I can create a range. Okay, so let's say the range is 5. In range 5, I just want to print I. So if I run this code, so it is going to print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Basically, it is how you. This is very simple thing over here. The iterator is working and it is going on each element. We have to understand that. But when I'll be coming to the part of collection over here. Then you guys will be understanding in a bit more detail that what these things are, what these are doing, right? So don't worry, we'll be coming to that in a bit. But before coming to that, I'll also need to be telling you how to write a while loop also. Okay. So while loop is again very simple. We have to give a condition over there. So if until the condition is true, the while loop is going to keep working. Okay. So let's say I'm just going to comment this also. Hi, Snehashish. Hi, Nirpal. LinkedIn, I'll be sharing with you, Srisht. Don't worry. Okay. So let's say there is a num over here. Let's say the value of the num is, let's take from the user. So how will I take from the user? I'll use an input. That's how I'll be taking from the user input. And this thing over here, I'll be converting into an integer because I'm doing the type conversion, right? So int input, and I'll just say enter a number. Okay. So now what I'll do is whatever the number that I have printed over here, I will be iterating some loop over it, right? So if I write the code over here is I'll say until the user doesn't enter the number 0, my loop will keep going on. Now, this concept will be useful when you're doing the project, the upcoming project, right? So this concept will be useful. I'm just going to say while the num is not equals to 0. Okay. If this condition is not true, then I will just print, uh, I'll just print, let's say you entered num. Okay. So whatever the number he has printed, I'm just going to display that. Okay. And then again, I'm just gonna, inside the loop, I'll just maybe create a like a very weird logic. I'm like whatever's coming in mind. I'm just gonna say again, I'm gonna create a num variable, and I'm gonna say int. That means it is again gonna ask for the prompt. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this prompt again, and I'm just gonna write this again over here. So that means this loop will keep working. This loop is gonna keep going on until I don't enter 0. Okay. Again, this if this condition is not true, it is basically gonna say If this condition is true, that means the output is not zero. It is going to print the number and is going to ask the number again. Again, going to print, ask the number again. And when I am out of the loop, I'm going to print the end. Okay. So that's how I'm just going to create a simple program. I'm going to say enter a number. I'll say 4. It is going to say you entered 4. Enter a number. I'll say 5. Again, enter a number. I'll say 8. Okay. 100. Okay. You enter again, enter number. I'll say 0. The end. Okay. So this is basically simple logic I have created over here in which my loop is working again and again and again and again until I don't reach the condition. Until the condition is not true. Until the condition is true, the loop will keep going again and again. Okay. That's how. Now this logic will be useful for you in creating the project, the upcoming project. I want the user input again and again until I don't reach uh, the termination condition. Okay. So yeah, that's how while loop works over here. And going to the next topic now, we also have these two keywords over here. Okay, we're gonna be understanding about these two keywords. The first keyword is break, and the second keyword is continue. So break is basically a keyword that is used when I want to stop the execution of the loop at particular condition. Right? Maybe I want to say that. I want to print some numbers, but when the value of the number is 5, I want to break the loop. So at that point, you can use break to break out of the loop. You will use break keyword. Okay. Just to give you an example over here, I'll say that for I in range 5. Okay. It'll work on the range 5. And basically, it is just going to be printing I. That is the normal logic. But I'm going to say that at that iterative at that step, if my I becomes equals to 3, at that point of time I want to break. This is the logic I'm going to be writing. Okay, now understand a thing very carefully over here. This for loop is now containing this entire thing over here. Okay, and this if statement is only containing this break because this is having indentation over here, right? This is the indentation. This print is not included inside this if. So that's how you need to understand about indentation in Python. Okay, might be a bit tricky, but yeah, I hope you get the gist. Okay, so if I run the code, it is just gonna print 0, 1, and 2. Okay, so 0, 1, and 2 it has printed at that point when I equals to 3. At that point, the loop broke. It is not going further. So that's how you use break keyword in Python. Similarly, if I use continue over here, instead of break, if I use continue, and if I run the code, it is going to give 0, 1, 2, and 4. It skipped that iteration at which the value is 3. Okay. That is basically the difference between continue and break. Continue is going to skip that particular iteration and break is going to break at that particular point. Okay. So yeah, I hope that makes sense and I hope it is clear. Okay. Okay. Next up, if you have any doubt till now, please feel free to drop any doubt in the chat. I'm just moving forward with the next concept over here. And that concept is basically known as functions in Python. How do we create function in Python? Okay. So basically, I hope you guys have some idea. If you have studied other languages also, we have the concept of functions or methods that you might have heard. The role of functions and method are basically this only, that we can create a function in which I can put my reusable code. I don't have to write my code again and again. Okay. So I can use a function over there. So how do we create a function in Python? We're gonna be seeing that. Okay. So let's take this. Let's understand this with an example. I'm gonna create a new file over here. So 05. So whenever I want to create a function in Python, I would be using a keyword known as def. This def keyword is basically gonna tell the Python that I'm creating a function. Okay. Yeah, I'll just repeat that all again, Manikant. So basically, if my loop is working and at any point of time I want my loop to stop, so I will mention the condition that my loop is going to work from 0 to 5. But I don't, or let's say if I say 10 over here, okay? So it is going to go till 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? I want to exit out of the loop at particular condition. I'm going to say that as soon as the value of I becomes 7, I want to stop the loop. So I'll put the condition over here, I equals to 7, and I will break at this point. So if I run the code, you will see the output is till 6 only, right? It has stopped the iteration of the loop at this condition. But continue is basically going to skip that particular step. So it is not going to print the I value when the I value of I becomes 7. It is going to skip that step. It is not going to stop the execution. It is going to skip that step. So you see over here, I don't get 7 over here because it said continue at that point. Okay. I hope it's clear, Manika. Okay. So let's move forward and talking about functions. Okay, great. Talking about functions, so we create a function with the help of def keyword, and then we give the name to the function. So let's say I want to create a function. The name of the function is uh, welcome. Okay, the name of the function is welcome. Okay, and then I give the parentheses. So this parenthesis over here will accept the parameters. I'm going to be talking about parameters in a bit, but that this is how you create a function. We don't use brackets in Python. We'll be using this colon, and then whatever I write inside the indented block, it will be the part of this welcome function. Okay, so let's say I want to print hello world. Okay, so if I run the code, you will see that nothing happens. Why? Because this is just the declaration, this is just the definition of the function. I have just created a function, I have not called it. So whenever you have a function, whenever you create a function, you have to call it also. So how do you create a function? How do you call a function? Just by the name. So I'll just write over here, welcome. That's all. If I run the code, it is going to print hello world. So basically, this part over here is known as the uh, I have declared the function and I have also defined what is inside the function. But when I want to execute the function, I have to call it like this. Okay. Now talking about parameters. So let's say I have the same function over here again. So let's call it welcome only, and what I'm going to say over here is that I need to pass a parameter. So parameters are basically the companions that you will pass along with functions that needs to be filled up when the function is being called, right? So I'll say that I'm going to pass a string over here. So I'm going to pass this in name. I'm going to say whenever I call the function, I have to pass a name over here that I need to do something with. So I'm going to say I just want to maybe print. I'm going to say hello and whatever the name I pass, right? So this is how I created a parameterized function. I passed a value, I passed an entity over here, and then I'm going to say it is going to print hello first, and then whatever I pass over here. So I'm going to say over here, I'm going to say I pass John. Okay. So if I run the code, it is going to say hello John. Why? Because whenever the function is being called, it is saying that, okay, there is some parameter, there is some argument that is being passed over here. So it is going to say, okay, first I'll go to the definition of the function. It is saying, okay, whatever is being passed as the parameter, as the argument, I need to concatenate it with hello. So that is what it has done. And my output is hello, John. Okay. If I want to pass multiple parameters, let's say I pass age also, and I can say, comma, I'll say your age is, and then I'll say whatever the age I pass, that will be displayed over here. So I'll say comma 10. Okay. So if I run the code, it is going to say, hello, John, your age is whatever the age I will pass, that will be the age. Okay. So that's how we have created a function that is Non-parameterized we have also understood. Parameterized also have understood. We can also add return keyword in this. So that means we don't have to, we can use simply the same thing over here. We can create a function def, and I can say, let's say I want to create a add num. This is the function name. I want to add two numbers. So let's say two numbers are num1 and num2. Okay. Now I'll say that I will say that this function is gonna, first of all, it is gonna, okay, my bad. I don't have to add brackets and all. This is Python. So just the parentheses and the colon. Okay. So I'm gonna say I need to add two numbers. So I'm gonna say okay, num1 plus num2. I can directly return this also, or I can also say answer equals to num1 plus num2, and then I can say return answer. Now, what does this means is I am using this function. This function, whenever I call this function over here, whenever I call this function, this is going to take two numbers. Okay. This is going to take two numbers. One number it would be, let's say 5 and comma 10. So it is going to take two numbers. And then what it is going to do is it is going to add those two numbers, store the sum in the answer keyword in the answer variable, and then it is going to return that answer. Okay, then it is going to return that answer. So that's how I will be. If I run the code, nothing will happen. Why? Nothing is getting printed. Why? Because I'm not printing anything. Na? I'm just returning. I'm just saying to this function that whatever is the num1 plus num2 would be, just return me. I can do anything with it. I can choose to print it on the console. I can choose it to store in the database. I can choose it to display on the web page, whatever I want to do. This function is just returning something. It is not printing something on the console. So that is the difference. This is the return. This is not printing something, right? So if I have to print it, then I need to say print, then I'll say add num. Whatever the add num is gonna give me, I'll just print that. So I'm gonna say 15 is gonna be printed, and I'm gonna say whatever this function is returning me, I need to print that. So that's why I added this function inside the print. Okay, so that's how this return type is working. Okay, cool. So yeah, I hope this much is clear to you guys. And next up we have, yeah. Okay, so we have the last topic now. I know it's already above the time, but thank you for waiting till now. And we are having this last topic that we'll be discussing, and we'll be understanding how to create the collections in Python, right? If I want to store multiple type of data, how can I do that? What are the properties of that? It's very, very important for you guys. If you are going in the data field, you have to understand how things are working, how data is being stored, how multiple type of data can be stored in some collection, right? Very important topic. So we're going to be discussing about that. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to create a new file. So let's start with a very simple topic, very simple thing that is very common among the Python. That is list. Okay. So basically, how do we create a list? List. What does the list can do? It can store multiple data. So if I say I'm having a list of, let's say, nums, right? Nums. Then the name of the list is nums, and I'm saying instead of storing just one number, it can store multiple numbers. So I can use big brackets in that case, and let's say it is storing 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever. Okay. So these are the data that is inside the nums. If I try to print nums over here, it is gonna give me what? It is gonna give me the output of all the things that are inside the nums, right? It is gonna print all of that, all of the things. Okay. What if I have something like 100 on the beginning. And if I check the output, what will happen? It is gonna give me 100, 20, 30, 40. Okay. And what if I have something like minus 20? So that means lists are ordered. Lists are ordered. One property that I have understood of list is ordered. Correct? Whatever the order I'm creating the list in, that is being coming. It doesn't matter it is positive, negative, right? I'm just getting it uh, in the ordered form. Second, if I try to add one more 40 over here, so I'm getting both the 40s over here. So that means my list is all can also allow duplicates. I can store duplicate elements in my list. These properties are very important to understand. You will know later on why. Okay. Next up, I told you guys in the beginning that whenever I am creating a list, I'm creating data, it is basically stored on indexes. So the first element is at 0 index, second is 1 index, this is 2 index, this is 3 index, this is 4 index. What if I try to access something? What if I try to go to some element? I want to try to access some element, right? How can I do that? Very simple. I'm going to say nums, and I will just say two. So what is this going to give? What is this going to give to me? This is going to give me the element which is present at the second index, right? So if I just say nums, if I try to print the element present at the second index, it is going to give me 30. So this is going to give me 30. Okay. Can I change the element present at that index? If I say this is 300, if I run it again, it is giving me 300. Okay. So that means one more property I understood about the list is that it is also mutable. Mutable means it can be changed. Okay. So lists are mutable also. That is something that I have understood from this part. Okay. So these things that I've written over here, they are important. You will know why. I'm just gonna go to the next part. You will know why these are important. And when I'm talking about list over here, then there are a lot of inbuilt functions that you will see basically that you can use to do a lot of things, right? So I'll be coming to that later on, but let's say I want to maybe, let's just I want to print all the elements of this list, not as a collection, but as an individual integers. So what I need to do is I need to go to each element. How can I do that? With the help of loop. I told you now. So I can use a for loop for I in nums. I just need to print I. I can print all the elements with the help of this. So if I run the code, you will see I'm getting all the elements over here, but not in the form of a collection, not in the form of list. These are individual integers over here, right? So I can basically iterate over all of them. Let's say if I want to maybe find the length of the list. So how can I do that? I can use a len, this len. Okay, this is going to give me the length of, let's say, nums. Okay, so if I try to just print this out, so I will get 5. So there are 5 elements in this. Index are 4 because index are starting from 0, but there are actually 5 things inside the list. That is why it is giving me 5 over here, right? And if I want to remove something from the list, let's say I want to remove, how can I remove something? I'll just simply say nums. I put the dot operator. You see all the operations that are there available with the list library. Okay. Everything that is related to the list is basically available over here. I can use this remove over here. And this is going to ask me which element to remove. I'm going to say I want to remove the one that is present at the second index. If I remove this, if I check the list, I'm just going to save it, clear it. Okay. So it is saying that value. Okay, it is asking for value, not the index. So I need to pass, I say 40. Okay. If I run the code, it is gonna say 4. Basically, I'm saying remove the element which is 40 over here, not the index, but the value. Okay. So I have removed it. Now the value is 4. Okay. Now there are a lot of methods that we have. related to this. I will not be covering the entire all the methods over here because it is going to take a lot of time and all of them are very simple. Just simply go to the documentation of Python. You will understand everything over there, or you can go to any website that are basically like these methods are inbuilt methods that will help you to do your work faster. But it is not compulsory that you will be needing them every day, or you might not use them any like you can create your own methods also, but if there is already something available, you can make a use of that, right? But we are not going to go in detail of that. We're going to be concentrating on the types of collection that we have. What are the differences that we have, right? So, uh, similarly, on the same thing, I'm going to be coming to the next collection now, which is known as tuple. Okay, so I'm just gonna write the things over here only. Okay, so next is tuple. Okay, now let's see about tuples. Let's see what are the properties of tuple over here. Okay, so first of all, comes the part that how can I create a tuple? Okay, so whenever I want, so I'm just gonna call it nums underscore list. I'm just gonna just to make things more clear, right? Let's say I create another list over here, another collection over here. Let's call it nums tuple. It's not compulsory to add a word tuple. I'm just writing it just for the clarity of you people. I can call it anything, right? So whenever I want to create a tuple, I'll be using small brackets. This is one difference. So big brackets for list, small brackets for tuple. And let's say there are some elements over here and maybe some random elements I'm going to be putting out. So I'm going to say 10, 20, 40, and then 5. Okay, some random things over here. So now if I try to say over here, just a second, I'm just gonna, so this section is for list. Now I'll do the code for the tuples over here. Okay. So let's say I created tuple over here. Let's say I just want to print everything that is there in the print nums tuple. Okay. So if I try to run this code, I'm gonna be getting 10, 20, 45. Okay. That means I'm getting into the same order. That means tuples are also ordered. That I understood from this part, right? Next up, I will be saying that, okay, can I have duplicate numbers? Let's say I have 5 over here. If I run the code, it is going to give me 10, 20, 40, and 5 and 5. That means it will also allow duplicates. Allow duplicates. Next up, can I change some element in the tuple? Can I do that? Let's see. I'm going to say that in my nums tuple, I want to go to the second index and I want to change the value to 100. Can I do this? If I run the code now, it is giving me error. It is saying that tuple object does not support item as segmented. Basically, what it is trying to say is I cannot change things in tuple. I cannot change the existing values in the tuple. So that means tuple is immutable. Tuple is immutable. This is the thing. Now, why this is important? Because you might need to understand this thing that when you're creating a project, it depends on the requirement of the project, that maybe there is a data that is coming from the user you cannot modify. Maybe you are storing the bank account numbers of the people. You cannot make it modifiable, right? So instead of storing those things in a list, you get stored in a tuple, maybe because you cannot change it, right? So that is where comes the part that how you can be using the tuple, right? It is not, you cannot modify it. Okay. Then if I want to iterate over the tuple, it is exactly same. The like we were doing in the list and all, right? And all the methods related to tuple and all, I can do in the same way. Just the difference is that I cannot change the values of the tuple. Otherwise, everything else is same. Okay. So you can just have a look over there and you can play around with it. Okay. But now coming to the next part, that is the set. Okay. So if I talk about set in Python, now let's talk about the set. Then let's see how things are working in set. Okay. Okay. So the first thing is when we are creating a set over here, whenever we are creating a set, I'm going to say nums underscore set. So when I'm creating a set, I'll be using curly braces. Okay. And let's say I have some values over here. Let's say 10, 20, 50, 20, 30. Okay. So if I run the code, if I say print num set, if I run this code, it is going to give me what? Error. Uh, okay. I have to comment this first. Okay. Now I'll run it again. It is going to give me 10, 20, 50, 30. Okay, now just observe what has happened over here. I have 10, 20, 50, 20, 30 in the list in the set, but what I'm getting is 10, 20, 50, 30. That means it is not allowing me to add duplicate elements over here. Okay, it is not allowing me to. It have in the ordered. I have the data in the ordered way, but I cannot have duplicates in this. Can I change elements in a set? Can I change it? I'm going to say num set. I want to go to the second element and I want to change the value to 100. Okay. If I try to run this code, it is saying that again, same thing. Okay. I cannot change things in the set also. That means set is also again immutable. Okay. And the important thing that you need to understand in set is that you cannot add duplicate elements. Okay, so immutable, and you cannot add duplicacy. So now you understand the use case. Maybe you have this requirement, you have this thing over here over that you cannot store duplicacy in your data, right? So you can store your data in a set in that case, right? Cool. Okay, so guys, I guess that will be it for today's session. Okay. We have covered a lot of things today. I hope you guys will be requiring some time to process this also. So maybe just have a quick recap maybe would be helpful, right? And just about the assignment that you have to do, I'm just going to tell you that what you have to do when you will be submitting your assignment. So basically, all the things that you have understood till now, you have to create a number guessing game. We will be discussing the solution tomorrow, but this is your assignment for today. You have to submit it today. And if you don't understand anything, we will be having a discussion around it tomorrow also. Don't worry about that. But basically, what you have to do is you have to create a number guessing game. So what will you be doing is you will create a variable in which you will be storing a random number. Now, how can you get random numbers in Python is something you have to go and check on Google. This is just like one line of code. You have to go and search on the Google. You create a variable. You basically every time the program runs, that variable is going to store some random number. Now, how to generate random number in Python is your task. Okay, how to do this, and then what you can do is you can make a functionality around it. You can say that okay, you're going to ask the user for an input. You're going to say that okay, enter a number. Let's say the secret number that is storing a random value. Let's say the value is 100. Okay, and you're gonna tell the user you can enter number between 0 and 1000 and whatever the range you want to put. Let's say the user has guessed the number 50. So you can check if the number that the user has input, if that is less than the secret number. So you can tell the number is too low, so user have to guess maybe a larger number. If the number is let's say 200, you can tell the user the number is too high. So maybe This is how you can, run a while in a while loop until you don't get the answer right. But maybe what you can also do as an additional functionality over here is you can add attempts. Okay, so you can create a variable that will be like tracking the number a user is inputting, right? So maybe you can say the loop will run 5 times. So every time the loop runs, the counter will increase 1 time. Again, loop runs, counter will increase 2 times. When the counter will become 5, you will say you lose. If the user gets the number, you win. That's what you will be creating out. Okay, so that is your task. That is your assignment. You have to make this interesting game. We can be discussing the solution tomorrow. Yeah, Sanskar.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Okay, okay, okay. So thank you so much for the insightful session, sir. I hope audience ने अपना dinner रख लिया होगा पहले ही. It's I guess it's 9:30, but I guess मैंने डाला था वैसे announcement में. Please prepare with your dinners also. So yeah, so
Yeah,
we can do one thing. I will be releasing the assignment which you have mentioned through our portal. So student, those who have like doubts and all, they can also ask in the community as well, and they can also access the assignment in our portal. I will be sharing one document like how one can actually access their assignment, and that particular documentation will include all the things which is needed to complete the assignment and submit to us. And yeah, so that is it for today, guys. I hope you guys loved the session, and we are looking forward for the tomorrow session as well. And the last thing is key. There's an important announcement regarding this assignment. So both the days of assignment, like the day one assignment and the day two assignment, is important for your certification. So it's very important for everyone to complete day one assignment, which is given by the mentor today, and the day two assignment as well, to in order to claim your certificate. So that is it for today's session. And thank you so much, Dhiraj sir, for joining in. And it's a lovely session. मतलब students actually उन्हें समझ में आया कि what exactly Python is all about, all those things. And by the way, tomorrow हम थोड़ा और deep dive करेंगे uh, in terms of projects and concepts को लेके. So tomorrow is another fun day for the people and all. So yeah, we'll see you
yeah.
tomorrow, and thank you so much for joining.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
thank you,
Thank you,
sir. Bye
Sanskar.
bye.
Yeah.
Bye
Okay.
bye. So that is it for today's session, guys. Meanwhile, if you have any doubt or anything related to assignment, certification, any doubts, feel free to drop in the WhatsApp group. I will be sharing the link here as well. You will also receive the email where you will prompt to join the WhatsApp group. So from there also you can join the WhatsApp group as well. And talking about assignment, it's very important that you guys or you have to attend the assignment, and you can submit it via our portal. Okay. So I will be releasing one document as well. That document is particularly a guide, like how one can also access and submit the assignment. Okay. So thank you so much. I hope आपने dinner रख लिया होगा, but still, uh, thank you so much for joining everyone. Uh, Thank you, everyone. Bye, everyone. Bye, Sidraj. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the wrong name. Sidra, right? Sidraj. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the wrong name. So, bye, everyone. Have a great weekend. And please do attend the assignment, which is shared by the mentor. Also, I will be sharing the assignment in the group as well. Okay. Thank you for joining, everyone. Bye bye.